we encountered two documents that contain colourless indented impressions produced by a typewriter.
And these lines are preserved only in these three-dimensional impressions in the paper, and otherwise they are lost.
Hello, my name is Sandra Mayer. I'm a literary historian at the Austrian Center for Digital Humanities and Cultural Heritage at the Austrian Academy of Sciences. And today we have the great pleasure of being here at the TU Wien, the University of Technology here in Vienna, and we are very pleased to tell you a little bit about the discovery that we made very recently. In the course of digitally editing the so-called Auden Musulin papers, which is the correspondence and the literary papers by the British-American poet W.H. Auden sent to the Welsh-Austrian writer Stella Musulin, we encountered two documents that contain colourless indented impressions produced by a typewriter. They are visible, but due to the many overlapping layers of text, it is virtually impossible to decipher, to read those layers of text. Now, the question, of course, is how did those indentations come about? Now, Auden was a poet of the so-called typewriter age, which meant that he used the typewriter as his main writing technology. Auden inserted several pages into the typewriter, and these pages were then placed underneath the sheet of paper on which he typed his poetry. Auden was then apparently in the habit of reusing those sheets of paper, either for his correspondence or for other drafts of his literary papers.
The method that we used to visualize those typewriter indentations is called photometric stereo. And it works this way, that you illuminate the object from different directions and take pictures of it with a fixed camera. And from the different brightness values that you record, the surface orientations at every point can be reconstructed, and thus we can retrieve the 3D shape of the object, and that in a very fine resolution. So in our case, we can visualize the indentations from both sides of the paper in different colors than the background, and thus we can make the text readable again.
What we have reconstructed is a previously unknown, otherwise lost, early version of Auden's poem Epithalamium, a wedding poem, which he wrote in 1965 on the occasion of his niece Rita Auden's wedding. And these lines are preserved only in these three-dimensional impressions in the paper, and otherwise they are lost. What is the most important outcome of our research, from my perspective, is that we can reconceptualize, rethink the sheet of paper not as 2D, but as a 3D object, which in its surface structure has information that is relevant to scholarship.